She didn't cry when I was born. She didn't hold me when I fell. She didn't come to school plays or whisper "I love you" before bed. And yet, every moment of my life, I begged for her love. Why? Why do we chase the affection of someone who withholds it like a weapon? They say a mother's love is unconditional. But what happens when it comes with strings and shackles and scars? I am a mother now. But when I look into my daughter's eyes, I see the ghost of the woman who raised me and the shadow I refuse to become. This story isn't about rage. It's about survival. It's about the loneliness of growing up with a mother who treats love like currency. Only given when you obey, withheld when you speak the truth. I am not alone. Millions of children grow into adults never knowing if their mother loved them or simply used them. And yet we cling to hope, because hope is the only thing manipulative parents can't fully erase. Have you ever tried to earn the love of someone who constantly made you feel like a burden? Let me know in the comments below. Just type "me too" if this is your story too. I grew up in Eden Hill, Missouri, a small town with big secrets. Our front porch always smelled like burnt cigarettes and broken promises. My father, gentle, patient, and always tired, was the only stable thing in my life. My mother, she was chaos wrapped in fake perfume and venom smiles. She liked people who reflected her worst parts. My older sister started using meth at 16, and suddenly she and Mom were inseparable, like a team, until my sister made the unforgivable mistake of getting clean. Then she was exiled. Same with my younger sister. Same story, same outcome. And now, my mother has a new best friend, my little sister's best friend's mom, another addict, another replacement daughter. I know it sounds pathetic, but I was jealous. I still am, because all I ever wanted was to be enough for her. Is it wrong to want love from someone who's never shown they can give it? Or is that just what children do? This story isn't pretty, but it's honest. And if you've ever tried to untangle the twisted roots of a toxic parent-child relationship, then you already know. This isn't about the past. This is about what it steals from your future. My earliest memory of a birthday is not cake or candles. It's sitting on the front steps alone, holding a balloon I had bought for myself with loose change, waiting for her to say something, anything. She never did. She was inside, laughing with someone else, someone she called family, someone who wasn't me. That was the first time I realized I was an outsider in my own home. She always had time for her friends, not real friends, users mostly, people who came and went through our living room like ghosts, leaving behind empty bottles, burnt foil, and silence. I didn't know what meth was, but I knew what missing looked like. Sometimes she'd vanish for 2 days, other times a week. No phone calls, no explanations, just gone. Then she'd return, eyes bloodshot, hands twitching, telling me I was too needy, that I always made everything about myself. She told me she sacrificed everything for me, that if I ever spoke out, I'd ruin her life. She'd cry, slam doors, disappear again. I was 8, and already I thought her happiness was my responsibility. Have you ever felt like you had to earn a parent's love? Did guilt become your love language too? Tell me in the comments. I read every word. I wasn't always alone. I had 2 sisters. For a while, we had each other. But then, she pulled them in too, not with hugs, with powder, with promises of being the favorite. My older sister, bright, artistic, quiet, started using at 16. And just like that, she was the good daughter. They smoked together, laughed together, mocked me together. And I became invisible. My little sister was different, sweet, gentle. She used to say she'd never go down that road. But it is hard to say no when the person you want to love you offers you a shortcut to their heart. She became just like our older sister, and just like her, she was adored until she got clean, and then cut off, discarded. Love in our house was like a drug itself. It gave you a high when you got it, but it came with strings made of secrets and shame. You think you're better than me now? Don't forget who kept you alive. I used to play that voicemail on repeat, not because I believed her, but because it reminded me she would never change, and I had to. What would you tell your younger self if you could go back to that moment when love felt like manipulation? Would you tell them to run or to fight? My sisters and I don't talk much anymore. Addiction rewrote our childhoods into battlefields. We're all survivors, but we all carry different scars, some seen, some buried. And now, I have a daughter, and I have a choice: to repeat the cycle or become the mother I never had. There are things I haven't said out loud in over a decade. Because when you grow up in survival mode, you learn to silence your own screams. My mother didn't just hurt me with words. She hurt me with hands, with silence, with secrets. She'd scream that I was crazy, that I was lying about what happened. She'd punish me for crying, then accuse me of faking pain for attention. She told me I was evil, at 9 years old. She hit me once with a kitchen drawer, and then handed me an ice pack and said, "See what you made me do?" I believed her. One night I said I wanted to live with Dad. Her face changed, like a shadow passed over it. She made me dinner that night. I remember the rice tasted metallic, bitter. I got violently sick within an hour. She said it was the flu. But I saw her smile when I was throwing up. And that's when I knew. She wanted me to suffer for choosing him. Have you ever had someone use your love for them as a weapon? Was there a moment you realized they were hurting you on purpose? Comment below. You are not alone. I didn't know what a normal mother was supposed to be, because pain was my normal. Terror was routine. I thought every child walked on eggshells, that every child knew which cabinet not to open, which friends not to bring home. I remember her tucking me in after a beating, kissing my forehead as if nothing had happened, and I felt loved. That was the scariest part. She made me believe that love equals fear, that abuse meant someone cared enough to correct you, that if I was hurt, it was because I did something wrong. My father, he tried. He really did. He took me for walks, helped with schoolwork, told me bedtime stories that didn't end in nightmares. But he was tired and afraid. Because loving me meant standing against her rage, and no one ever stood against her and stayed standing for long. There were times he fought for me, but she always knew what to say to make the courts believe her. She smiled in public, cried on cue, played the perfect mother. And I was just the dramatic daughter, desperate for attention. I grew up learning that love could be lethal, that silence was safer than honesty, and that sometimes the most dangerous place to be as a child is in the arms of someone who says they love you. But now, I'm a mother, and every day I hold my baby girl. I wonder if I've healed enough to teach her what love really means. What lie did you have to unlearn about love because of your upbringing? Let's talk about it in the comments. Your story might help someone else feel seen. When I held her, the world stood still. For the first time, something in me cracked open. And it wasn't fear, it wasn't trauma, it was awe. I named her Hope because that's what she gave me, in a hospital room soaked with blood, sweat, and prayers I never knew I was allowed to say. But the body doesn't forget. The first night alone with her, I froze. Her cry pierced something in me, something ancient, and suddenly I wasn't in a hospital bed. I was 5 again. Back in that tiny room with peeling wallpaper, bracing for footsteps outside my door. I hadn't realized how broken I still was until she looked at me with eyes that trusted me completely. And I thought, How can I protect her if I was never taught what safety even means? What surprised you most about how it resurfaced? I want to hear your truth in the comments. When I held her, I swore, this ends with me. The lies, the wounds, the hunger for love that leaves you starving. She would never feel invisible, not in my arms. She found out, somehow. Maybe from Facebook, maybe from someone who meant well. There she was, same perfume, same forced smile. And in her hands, cheap gas station flowers, the kind that die in 2 days. She said all the right things. I'm so proud of you. She's beautiful like her mama. I can help if you'll let me. But under it, I heard the subtext. I'm still your mother. You owe me this moment. I deserve to be part of her life. She cried crocodile tears, touched Hope's foot like it was sacred. And then, the comment that still makes my blood run cold. Maybe now you'll understand how hard it was for me. She was already laying the groundwork for guilt, twisting my joy into a mirror for her regret, hoping I'd crack open and let her back in. I wanted to scream, to grab my daughter and run, but I just froze, because somewhere inside, the child in me still wanted her to be good, to be safe, to be real. I asked the nurse not to let her back in. I told the front desk she wasn't welcome. It felt like betrayal, but it was the bravest thing I've ever done. I looked down at Hope's face, and I whispered, "You will never beg for love the way I did." Have you ever had to protect your child from a family member? What boundary did you set, and how did it change your relationship? Let's share wisdom with each other in the comments. This story isn't just about pain. It's about choosing something better, even when your voice shakes. It's about breaking the rules of silence you were raised with, and choosing your child over your guilt, over your past, over the ghost of who your mother should have been. My dad was the kind of man who didn't say much, but when he did, you listened. He saved me, in every way that counts. He loved quietly but fiercely. They told us it was pancreatic cancer, late stage, 3 to 12 months at best. He didn't cry. He just looked at me and said, "Don't let her use this." 3 days after the diagnosis, my phone lit up with her name, 12 missed calls, 8 voicemails, all saying the same thing. He'd want us to come together, sweetheart. You don't want to hurt him in his last months, do you? I'm still your mother. You'll regret this when he's gone. She hijacked his diagnosis like it was her second chance, but it wasn't about Dad. It was about her. Have you ever had someone weaponize a family tragedy to manipulate you? What gave you the strength to see through it? I read everything you share. I agreed to meet her, not for her, not even for me, for my dad. She showed up 20 minutes late with sunglasses on indoors and perfume that hit like a migraine. She started with tears, with stories of her own mother, with, "I did the best I could." She said she'd changed, that she was sober now, that she wanted to know her granddaughter. I told her everything I'd never said out loud. The hunger, the nights alone, the bruises, the fear, the silence. "You always exaggerate things." She smirked, sipped her coffee, and said, "I don't remember it like that." It felt like being 6 again, trying to explain pain to someone who benefits from your silence. I looked her in the eye and said, "You will never see my daughter, and you don't get to rewrite history." She called after me, "You'll regret this." But I already regretted every second I spent hoping she'd be different. Have you ever said enough to someone who wouldn't change? What gave you the courage to finally walk away? She can't hurt me anymore. Not because she's changed, but because I have. My daughter won't know this pain, because I buried it with the truth. And the truth is, sometimes healing isn't reunion. It's escape. She didn't come to the funeral. She sent a card, signed, "Mom." No message inside, just her name. I stared at that card for hours, waiting to feel something, anything, but there was nothing left to feel. No hate, no hope, just release. Letting go doesn't mean condoning the pain. It means choosing your own life over the ghost of what you hoped for. She will never change. And that realization? It didn't break me. It built me. I don't need her to love me anymore, because I finally learned how to love myself. If you're re-breaking a generational cycle, what's one thing you do differently with your child? Your comment could help someone else heal. She's 5 now, bright, curious, unafraid. Every morning I kneel down so we're eye to eye. I tell her, "You're safe, I'm here, always." I don't raise my voice. I raise my presence. Every time I choose patience over punishment, every time I pause to listen instead of react, every time I hold her without needing a reason, I bury the mother I never had. She will never have to wonder if she's lovable. She will never confuse fear with attention. She will never learn to tiptoe around silence because I chose to break what broke me. There's no ribbon-tied ending, no apology from the past. But there's light now, and laughter, and a child who knows love like air. Always there, even when unseen.
You got me loose and set me free.